Titles. Titles are a way to include words into your slideshows or videos. To put a title in, we're first going to go to the project. Then up at the top, we'll go Title, New, Default Still. I want to go with something named, so usually if I'm calling it something like a title, it's a little hard to find. In this case, I want to call it video still one, something like that. Well, you could call it whatever you want, but just know that if you get a lot of titles out there, it's really hard to find them. In this case, it's going to launch over the top of my video where I'm presently at on the timeline. Click and drag, and this will be the area at which you can type. I can type here. All right, now that's really hard to read, right? So let's go and see if we can move it around. Well, yeah, we can. What about changing the actual font and the color of the font? Well, if you highlight the font, you can go to color and you could choose something like yellow. Now you can actually read it. It's still hard to see though. What if you wanted to put like something over the top of it? Now, I'll let you know that there is a million things you can do over here, and you're going to be playing with these. I won't be showing you all of these, but I'll say strokes is a nice one. Outer strokes is really nice. And you can put outer strokes on and rank up the size of it. So now, all of a sudden, you can now read the text. Good stuff. There's 1,000 pre-built-in things here for type. And if you think you're going to get bored with any of these, you can also click here and then load a new library. Okay, now loading a new library used to be a pen style library. And in this case, I only have one style library in here, but you can download these style libraries, and I think there's more found on the DVDs. So just letting you know that there are so many styles available to you. Some of these get really kind of gaudy and ugly looking. Just be aware that when you're dealing with type, you have to be reading the type. If you have something like the flaming awesome font here, that might be hard to read and very blurry for the older generation. So you got to watch that. Gauge your audience. Who is looking at this? Who is reading it? Is all very important things to know. Now, you can also change the font type. Here is all the fonts. And just by clicking and dragging down, you can see it changes. Also regular and sometimes bold. So if you're familiar with Microsoft Word, you're all right here. But let's look at placing it over the top of something. Let's choose something maybe like this. And then close out. Well, where did it go? It's not here. Well, it went over here. And that's the one thing I wanted to just point out as far as titles are concerned. Click and drag it back, and you can now see it. So as soon as you make a title, it gets launched over into your bin, and from the bin, you get to click and drag it out. And from here, I can move it anywhere I want. Let's say I click on it, and then I can move it over here. So I can move it after the fact even. I can even resize it after the fact. All right, so that is titles in Premiere. Enjoy.